Hi everybody and welcome to my channel, Sandra's Homespun Life. Today I'm going to fix a new recipe and it's called Turkey and Gouda Cheese Party Rolls. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients that I'll be using to fix this recipe. I'll be using 1 roll of crescent roll dough, a half a pound of thin sliced turkey breast. I'll be using approximately 8 slices of Gouda cheese. And then I'm also going to be making a honey mustard glaze that goes on top of these. And the ingredients for that are 1/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt, 1/4 cup of whole grain or Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This recipe is something that will be baked in the oven, so I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. For my next step, I'm going to put together this honey mustard glaze. I'll be adding 1/4 cup of the honey, 1/4 cup of the Greek yogurt, 1/4 cup of the mustard, tablespoon of the white vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. Next, I'll take my whisk and I'll just stir that up, mix it up until it's well blended. I have my honey mustard glaze stirred up, so I'm just going to set it to the side before continuing on with my recipe. So for my next step, I'm going to open my crescent rolls. I'm going to spread those out into a single layer and I'm going to join the seams together so that it stays intact to form one layer of crescent roll dough. Now I'm going to press this out into about a 12 by 18 square. Okay, I have my crescent roll dough rolled out. Now there was no way that I was going to pat this out to a 12 by 18 square like the recipe called for. So I got my dough roller out thinking that would make it easier, which it did. But even spreading this dough as thin as I could, I did not get up to the 12 by 18 that the recipe calls for. It's closer to 12 by 12. We'll work with it, okay? The next step in the recipe says to lay down a layer of the thin turkey breast. Okay, I have my turkey laid down in a layer across the dough, so my next step is to lay down some of the Gouda cheese on top of the turkey. I have my layer of the Gouda cheese put down and I just spread it out the best I could. I used 1 whole package of the Gouda cheese for this and I just put it on there the best I could with what I had. So my next step is to start at the wide side or the long side of my dough and begin rolling that towards me to form it into a roll. Okay, I have my dough rolled up, so my next step is to seal this seam where the end come around on my roll. So I'm just going to take my fingers and try to pinch that together the best that I can. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be alright. Now my next step in this recipe is to cut this into single individual pieces. So I'm just going to eyeball it and do it the best I can. The recipe calls for 12 pieces. And you know, like I said before, I didn't get my dough spread out that far is what the recipe called for. So I'm just going to eyeball it and maybe try to slice these into 1/2 inch sections maybe. And we'll see how that goes. I have my roll all cut into about 1/2 inch sections. I'm sure they're not all perfect. I just eyeballed it. I'm not much into getting real precise with anything, but I think they'll be alright. They're all relatively close to the same width. So for my next step, it is just placing them on a baking sheet, and it says to space them out evenly, about 1/2 inch in between each one. Once again, I'm just going to put them on there, eyeball them, and try not to let them get too close together. Okay, I have all my rolls placed on my baking sheet, so my next step is to drizzle the honey mustard glaze over top of each one of these rolls. I have the glaze put over each one of my rolls, so my next step is to place this in the oven, which I have preheated at 350 degrees. It says to bake them for about 25 minutes or until the tops are lightly brown. So this is something I'll just watch as it bakes. I have them in the oven now, so I'm just going to watch them, and I'll bring you all back when they're finished, and we'll take a look at these, and I'll give one a try and see how they taste. I have my rolls all plated up, so now I'm just going to get one out on a plate and give this a try and see how it tastes. That's delicious, you all. Oh my gosh. I really had my doubts about this recipe. I'm not real big on mustard, but the type of mustard that this recipe called for, and then once you add the honey to it, it really tames the mustard down, and you get more of the Dijon flavor through it. So it's really good. This would be great for an appetizer. You could even fix you a side of baked beans to go with this, and I think it would complement each other perfectly. So this is a really good recipe. And I did bake this for the full 25 minutes. So I'm tickled to death with it. I think it's really good. So I'm going to finish eating this little baby right here. And I thank you all for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And always remember to be humble and kind to one another. Until next time, guys. Bye.